How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down 10 breakout stocks that I'm looking to buy heading into this week in the stock market. And I also want to refresh your guys' memories on what happened last week in the stock market, taking a look here at the S&P 500 so we can break down some technicals and maybe, just maybe, plot out where we could be heading into this week. And we got some crazy news. 4 executive orders were signed in by President Donald Trump. I want to break those down in this video very briefly. I'm sure many of you guys have already seen what these entail, but we'll break them down anyway. And I also want to go over what the stock market futures are looking like right now, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow Jones, and very briefly go over what earnings are coming up in this upcoming week. So a lot to go over in this video. If you guys find value, as always, hit that like button for me. Join our Strive Smart Discord chat and Facebook group, link down below. Those are free of charge. And you can also get 2 free stocks from Webull, also linked down below, valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 using that link, and you get 2 free stocks, and I also get 2 free stocks as it is an affiliate link, and those 2 free stocks help out the channel and all the free content that I'm putting up here on YouTube. So I do appreciate you guys if you do support the channel directly. So let's get into it. I mean, a lot to go over this week, this week. I mean, it's going to be a pretty interesting week ahead of us. So last week, the S&P 500, overall, the gist of it is the bulls won the week, right? We held 3280 in the beginning of the week, and if you guys recall, 3280 is where we struggled on the S&P 500 here back in the end of July. You can see it here for yourselves. Back on July 20th, heading to July 23rd, I mean, we got rejected there multiple times, and ever since we took out 3280 as a resistance, obviously it became a new support, right? So we saw, we got rejected there. We fell down about 3220 heading into the end of July. Then in the beginning of August, heading into last week, we gapped out, right? We gapped out of 3280. We held it as a support the first 2 days of last week. We gapped out of 3300, held it as a support, right? Ended up rallying up out of 3330, which was an old all-time high from back in the beginning of January. So that was a very good sign for the bulls, right? Breaking out of 3330. And then on Friday, take a look here, guys. On Friday, we actually got rejected at 3350, which is where we failed on Thursday at the end of the day. But the big but here is we pulled down and we actually held 3330, again, old all-time high, as a new support. That's a very good sign here for the bulls. And as the bulls held that level, they ended up rallying heading into the close of the market all the way up to 3350, hitting a high here for the week. And that's also a very good sign. So heading into this upcoming week, guys, what I'm personally looking for is a breakout of 3350, right? I need to see more direction here on the S&P 500. And in my opinion, what a breakout of 3350 would entail, it would entail an all-time high or a race up to all-time highs here on the S&P. I mean, take a look. S&P all-time highs are 3390, and that's less than 1% away from where we are today, right? Or right now, or from the close on Friday. So that is very doable in 1 week. I mean, heck, we can do that in 1 day, guys. I mean, we've seen the market. If you guys recall, back in February, March, the market was going up and down 6, 10%, 12% in a day. I mean, like it was nothing, right? Like it was almost normal. And the funny thing is, back in that time period, and I know you guys can relate, when the markets were really crazy, it almost felt like it was normal. It was becoming the new normal. Like, oh yeah, S&P is down 3% today, no big deal. 5% today, 10%, no big deal. Dow Jones is up 12% today. Oh yeah, it's just another day in the markets, right? So, looking now, a couple months later, a 1% move, I mean, that's extremely doable here in the S&P to get to all-time highs. So do I think we will get to all-time highs in the next couple of weeks? No doubt about it. This week, most likely. Will we get to all-time highs this week? It's not 100% for sure, but if I were to put my money on it, I would say S&P all-time highs this week. Let me know down below, what do you guys think about that? And when it comes down to the futures, I mean, the futures, they aren't off to a pretty hot start. I mean, it's actually the opposite. They're off to a red start. Red start. S&P futures /ES here, down 0.2%, down $6.25. NASDAQ futures down about $40, down 0.35%. And the Dow futures are down $45, down 0.16%. So right off the bat, we're selling off in response. I don't know if it's in response to the executive orders, to just the markets cooling off in general, but we are seeing a bit of a bit of a sell-off here when it comes to the futures. And I know this doesn't always signify that we're going to have a red day or we're going to dump massively tomorrow, because the futures, guys, they can flip-flop overnight. We can wake up and see the Dow futures up 2%. Who knows? And we can see them fall even further. So what I'm going to be doing, and what I advise you guys to do, and what I always talk about here every Sunday on the channel, is keep an eye on the futures. Keep an eye on what's going on throughout the night. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be setting alarms, waking up throughout the night, taking a look at what the futures are. But, you know, when you wake up in the morning, let's say it's 2-3 hours before the market opens. If you're on the West Coast, I don't know if you're waking up at 3 a.m. like that, but if you're waking up early and you're seeing what the futures are looking like, pay attention, right? See if they're gapping down. Are they gapping up? Are the large cap stocks really green? Are they really red pre-market? Because this can give you some, hints as to where the market could be going for the day, right? So at this point, bulls are in charge, no doubt about it. S&P last week, bulls were in charge. NASDAQ, although the NASDAQ did see a sell-off, tech sold off on Friday a bit. Overall, the markets are still being ruled by the bulls. And the futures right now, again, are down despite the executive orders, which we'll get into here in a minute. And gold futures are actually up $7, as what is going on here with monetary policy, fiscal policy. I mean, this is good for gold and the bulls for gold, right? Because we're seeing a lot of money stimulus, money printing, just tons of money, debt being created. And as the dollar gets devalued, we see inflation. That is a very good recipe for gold, which is why we're seeing gold up here 0.4%, as we're seeing the stock market futures, S&P down, NASDAQ in the red, right? So let's go over now very quickly what happened when it comes to the Trump executive orders, what's going down on that end of the spectrum, as this is very important for the people of the United States, people in the stock market, and just people in general, right? This is very important stuff to just keep an eye out on and just to just always understand, right? So we got workers' payroll tax suspended. This goes to typically Social Security and Medicare. So this means that people's their paychecks, they're going to be more money, right? Because you're not going to be paying out that tax, workers' payroll tax for Social Security and Medicare. And this is actually until the end of the year being December 31st, 2020. And it's actually starting on September 1st, which is about 3 weeks from now. But the thing is here, the caveat here is, guys, that this is not being cut forever. It's not like these taxes are going away. They're just being suspended. I think another term for it is deferred, right? So this means that you're going to have to pay them in not September, but in the new year, right? Unless who knows, this can be permanently cut away. I'm not a politician. I'm not sure what's going to end up happening. I don't really focus on politics here on the channel. Obviously, it's a stock market channel, but from my understanding here, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is not permanent. This is just going to be a suspension of this tax for the next couple of months until the end of 2020. So that's number one. Number two, unemployment benefits are actually going to be $400 per month. We all know that this past Friday was the last day for $600 of unemployment benefits for those on unemployment, obviously. And Republicans, Democrats, they've been going at it like crazy. Republicans wanted $200 a month, or a week rather. Democrats wanted $600 a week. So I guess this is, Trump with the executive order came in at some sort of a middle ground. I mean, $400 a month. But there's a catch. There is a catch, guys. $300 of this $400 per month is going to be coming from the federal government, and the other $100 is going to be coming from the state government, depending on what state you live in. And again, if I get any of this wrong, feel free to correct me down below. But from my understanding is $300 from federal government, $100 from the state government, and this puts the states in an interesting spot, especially those states out there that that are broke at the end of the day. The states that really can't afford paying out $100 to everybody on unemployment up until the end, which is, I believe this does go out of effect in the end of December, right? So this is pretty interesting, right? Many states, like I said, and I'm reading off some notes here, they are cash strapped as they fight the CV, and there's concerns that the governors of these states won't even sign on and do this. So we'll see what ends up happening there. And so you're seeing the 4 executive orders, but if you dig a bit deeper into them, there's a lot more nuance. There's a lot more interesting points that you just have to dig deeper and find out and figure out on your own, guys. So it's $300 from federal, $100 from state. Then the third one here is no longer able to evict, right? The eviction process, can't do that. And I believe this is actually the only one that's an executive order. The other 3 are known as memorandums. Let me read this note for you guys here. The only executive order officially is the eviction one. The other 3 actions are marked as memorandums, which they carry less heft. That's what I'm writing here, and I got this from an article. I'll link the article down below in the description for those of you guys that want to read more in depth on this. Very good stuff in that article, but that's kind of my understanding there. So eviction, can't do that anymore. And the fourth one here is waiving student loans, deferring those payments, I believe the interest as well, until the end of 2020. So you can push that back to December 31st, but January 1st is when those payments, you have to start rolling them back in. So those are the 4 orders here that ended up going, mainstream. I mean, that's what's going on right now. That is what Trump, came out with. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below here. And another note I have here I believe it's from that article as well. It is likely that Trump is potentially, he might face legal action here, a legal challenge over these actions, because many people have been saying a lot of this is unconstitutional, but that's another story, that he doesn't have full right to do all of this without the Congress, voting and so forth. And the U.S. Constitution gives, like I just said, the Congress the power of the purse. Any changes to taxes or spending are supposed to come from Congress. So again, this is not a politics channel. I'm not the biggest guy involved with politics. I've always been of the thought of focus on yourself, build your business, work on your job, save money, invest, do this, do that. Don't rely on government. Don't rely on politicians. But I still figured we have to talk about it, and we'll see what ends up happening this upcoming week, the next upcoming weeks, when it comes down to these orders. So let me know down below, guys, in the comments, what are your thoughts on this stuff? Let me know if I made a mistake. If you want to correct me, you want to chime in, let me know down below in the comments. And also let me know what are your thoughts on the stock market here in general, how this will affect the stock market moving forward. I would love to know. Now, there's earnings coming up this week. This is an earnings whisper screenshot here. We have some companies that aren't too big. I mean, yeah, we have some big companies here, but a lot of the hype stocks, a lot of the big tech names that we've been watching out for have already reported earnings, but there are still some interesting companies here reporting this week. Tomorrow, Monday, we have Mercado Libre, we have Novavax, vaccine company, we have Tilray, we have some MJ companies starting to kick in here. We have Workhorse, WKHS. Workhorse is going to be a big earnings report. We have Barrick Gold, Royal Caribbean, Marriott, Duke Energy. We have Sunrun, ticker symbol RUN. We have Tencent. Did I say Simon Property? Well, we have Simon Property. We have Inovio. And Tuesday, we have NEO. We have Cisco. We have Red Robin. We have... what else down here that I recognize? Not much. Wednesday, we have Cisco with a C. We have Lyft. We have Joy with 2 Y's, although I don't know what that is, to be honest. And then on Thursday, sorry guys, I have something in my throat right now. Thursday, we have what? We have... I don't know many of these companies either, guys. Sheesh. Again, like I said, a lot of the big names have already reported, but these are some, we have some Chinese names this week. We have IQ. That's IQIY here. We have that Chinese company. We have DraftKings on Friday, Ocugen, Rumble on, Fang.com. So, those are the earnings. Those are the main earnings that I'm personally watching out for this upcoming week. And when it comes down to individual stocks, which most of you guys probably clicked onto this video for this portion of the video, we have the first one I want to go over here is, like I just said, Tuesday they're reporting NEO, guys, ticker symbol NIO. And if you guys have been following NEO, this stock has been on a tear. It's gone from about $6 to 16, from the end of June to the middle of July. Ever since the middle of July, it's kind of cooled off a bit from 16 down to 12. It seems like it's found a solid base at $12, $11, $12. And recently, the past couple of days, we finally found some, momentum, bullish momentum, to get us out of $13.40, $13 in general, which is where we've been struggling ever since the middle of July. So that is where I started to get more interested in NEO, right? Recently, ever since we took 13 out. And now you guys can see, we've seen a little pull down from that peak at 1450, which we did rally to, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. Now we pull down to about 1350. So there's about a correction of 7% from the peak here last week. And if we rally back up to $16, that is about an 18% move in store waiting to be had, right? About 18 to 20% there. And if you guys remember, NEO actually reported amazing numbers, delivery numbers here for July. They came in at 3,500 vehicles, and you guys can see it down here. 3,500 vehicles, which was an increase of 322%. Year over year, which is just wow, right? That's just pretty strong growth there. And that is what actually set the stock off to this new leg up. On the 3rd of August is when we got that news, and ever since then, that's when we took 13 out. We hit 1450, and we've seen consolidation at around 1350 now. So I'm thinking if 1350 holds, we start to get a breakout into 14 this week, and a good earnings report, that's a recipe for an explosion here, in my personal opinion, for NEO, right? And again, my opinion. You guys out there, always do your own research, always do your own due diligence. Don't buy any stocks on my opinion or anybody's opinion on at that matter. But yeah, that's a little disclaimer. And again, I think NEO has good potential here, and I'm honestly very excited for their earnings report. And another one here, Activision ATVI, also had a pretty strong earnings report, but the stock went down about $7. It's down about $7 off of its high here at about $89, which it did hit, I believe, after it reported earnings. And on a technical basis here, the ATVI stock here, it's holding $82, holding where we saw resistance ever since the beginning towards the middle of July. We struggled at about $82, so we're holding that point at a higher low. We're also trying to hold that 50 SMA here, this green line. That's a good sign. So for me, guys, I think Activision is a buy anywhere in the $83 to $84 territory, right? Especially if we start to get out of this level. If you take a look here on the 5-day, 5-minute, you can see it for yourself. 84 has big, it was a big support last week as well. Now it's acting as a resistance since we're trading under it. So I'm thinking, if we break 84, this could be a straight shot back up to about 89 to 90 bucks, even above there, guys. We could be getting to all-time highs. And see a move of anywhere from 5 to 7%. And if you guys recall, their earnings were strong, very strong. EPS came in, if you guys can see it here, EPS came in at 97 cents versus 68 cents. Sales came in at 2.07 billion versus 1.7 billion. So strong earnings there from Activision, selling off despite that. So yeah, either way, despite the sell-off, I'm watching it as I am a swing trader and I like getting in on the weakness. So watch those two, Neo, ATVI, Workhorse. Again, they report earnings tomorrow. This stock, in my opinion, has a lot of potential, no doubt about it. If you guys have seen ARK Invest, they've actually been buying a lot of Workhorse Group, and yeah, there's potential here. And ultimately, on a technical basis, we are holding 1650. That's a big level of support here. It used to be an old resistance stemming back from about 2 weeks ago. So if 1650 holds, we start to break out to the 17 level. The stock literally last week got up to 20 bucks, or was that the week before? No, it was last week. We got up to $20, and then we sold off, but still, despite the sell-off, we're still holding a higher low. We're still on an uptrend here, but we just have to get direction back up into the 17s to the 18s. And another big resistance is 18 bucks, which, last week we took 18 out and we hit all the way up to $21 on the same day. So, watch that. Watch for 18 to break. I'm thinking if that takes out, we can be going much higher, especially on a solid earnings report. And two other ones here that I'll preface this with, they are a bit risky since they didn't report the best of earnings, but since they've dropped so much, I think it's worth watching them. One of them is Ilm Illumina. This fell about $50 per share from its earnings report. And you guys know, especially if you watch my video on Friday, I believe they missed on EPS and on revenue, and they guided a bit lower. So that's why I'm throwing a disclaimer here. Be careful with this one. But either way, I'm watching it on this weakness, right? This is not necessarily one that I'm going to dive into this week because of that earnings report being a bit risky, but it could recover nonetheless. We've seen it in the market. We've seen stocks drop on bad earnings report and they recover either way, anyway, right? We've seen it happen many times. So I'm watching ILMN here for that exact reason. If we start breaking 360, 370, that could be a breakout signal, maybe back up to the low 390s, 400s, who knows, guys, right? So I'm watching ILMN. And the second one here that got hit pretty hard, and you guys must approach with caution, is AYX, which went down about 28%. So this is not just a little 5% drop. This is a big drop, guys, 30%. So I'm watching this. Again, I'm not jumping into it full-fledged right now, but I think it's worth watching for maybe a bounce back play, maybe some sort of comeback play. But like Illumina, this one didn't do too well when it comes to earnings. I believe they're guiding down a bit when it comes to, guidance. So, yeah, we're seeing a 30% drop, but either way, we could see a recovery potentially. But at this point, be cautious because it still seems like a falling knife at this point with no clear-cut path of a recovery. So that is AYX. Another one here that I'm actually in a little bit now with a position is Upwk Upwork. They reported pretty strong earnings. The guidance was a bit soft, but either way, on a technical basis, it's holding 14 bucks. That used to be a resistance many times stemming back from the middle of May, and we're actually also holding this 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. So we're seeing a bit of a rally. I mean, we were up 7% on Friday, holding those points I just mentioned. Now we're looking to maybe rally up to $15, and I mean above $15.50, guys, being the next big resistance. That is where I can see the stock really start to gain some headway, a full head of steam here, let's put it that way, and maybe we get back to the pre-market, or rather the aftermarket high after it reported earnings on earnings day, which was on, what was this, the 4th of August. I mean, we got almost to $19 that day. So watch 15.50. If that breaks, we could start making our way back up to $17-18. Tesla is another one that's just been so quiet. I feel like Tesla is tuning up for a move here, either up or down, and I'm actually leaning more towards up, right? Because, it's cooled off a lot recently, so I feel like it's, a move is in store here to the upside. And as long as it's holding 1450, I'm waiting for that move to the upside, right? And it seems like we have been holding this 1400 level very strongly, and that's a good sign because, I mean, if you guys take a look back here in the beginning of July, after we saw that ridiculous 400-point rally heading into earnings, I mean, we've held 1400 despite us, trying to break out of it multiple times on the downside. I mean, we hit 1400, hit 1800, and ever since we hit that all-time high, I mean, we've retested it, 1400 that is, multiple times. So I'm thinking here, especially as we are seeing 1450 hold into the close on Friday, I'm thinking if we get a gap up, a break into 1500 on Tesla, that is where we could start seeing a rally. And who knows, maybe if NIO does well, some of these other electric vehicle plays do well when it comes to earnings, it could end up shooting up all of the EV stocks, although Tesla is the big dog, so we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm not sure if the smaller dogs like Workhorse and NIO could move Tesla. I mean, we know for a fact Tesla doing well could move the smaller dogs, being NIO and Workhorse and other ones, but we'll see overall what ends up happening. And either way, I think Tesla does have potential here, and Dkng is another one that's about $10 off its highs, reporting earnings here on Friday, and it's under a big resistance, $35, guys. $35 was a support back in the middle of June. We broke that actually heading into the beginning of July, and ever since then, I mean, we've been struggling under $35. So I'm thinking anything above 35 gives, Dkng here some headway. I think if we do break 35, this thing, coupled with a strong earnings report, could get us back up to the low 40s, maybe even above 40. We'll see what ends up happening. Again, we're about $10 off of its highs here. Its high being around $45. So yeah, watch 35 up to 45 here on Dkng. And Nvx Novovax, again, a vaccine company. They are also reporting earnings tomorrow. They're down about $30 off the highs being around $200. So this could end up being a nice breakout up to about 200 as there is around 13% potential here. So, and there's no doubting that this is on an uptrend still, right? We're holding the moving averages very strongly. So watch Novavax NVAX for maybe a pull down to 160, maybe a move from where it is now, 170 up to 190. It really depends on what they end up reporting when it comes down to earnings. And another one here is CGC, guys. Canopy Growth, MJ Company, also reporting earnings tomorrow. This one's down a good chunk from its $20 high recently, down about 17% from there. Ultimately, it's still holding this uptrend if you guys take a look here on the 4-hour. So this could be a bottom. I mean, not saying it is, guys. It's not fully confirmed quite yet, but this could be a bottom here. For CGC, if 17 ends up holding, if we get up into the 1750, we end up breaking out of this big resistance at 1750, $18. That is where we could start getting, a bit of headway here on CGC. So I'm going to add it to my swing watch list, CGC. And to end off the video, GDX. GDX is another big one here that I'm pretty sure, yup, it did. It pulled down on Friday, down $3. We're holding the uptrend, based on this 4-hour chart. Gold is pushing up right now. Futures are up $11. And like I've been saying, many people are getting into gold stocks as the monetary policy in this country and around the world, quite honestly, with all the money printing, it's remaining this way, and it's not seeming to change anytime soon. And this is a very good situation for gold and GDX, a gold miners ETF. Many of you guys know this as well, is kind of like a leveraged way to play gold itself, the precious metal, the bullion itself. You can own physical gold, that's great, but if you want a more risky play, kind of a more leveraged play here, you could go for the gold miners ETFs, GDX being one of them, and an even riskier play could be GDXJ, which is a gold junior miners ETF, and that was also down about 4% on Friday. So watch GDX, GDXJ. I'm watching those like a hawk heading into this week, and all of those other stocks mentioned. So if you guys found value in this video, I'm going to end it off here. Hit that like button for me. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on the markets, the stocks mentioned, earnings, the 4 executive orders from President Trump. Let me know down below. And don't forget to claim your 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,400. Link down below. All you have to do is deposit $100 using that link, and you get your 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,400. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always. Good luck this week in the stock market. It's going to be a crazy one, as always. And, stay safe. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.